or what are we filling it with? It's the stories.
Okay, and you say that you help people, women especially, with that.
Yes, that it's interesting because that and comedy, they're both my babies. They're both my passion. I adore being able to do both of those. With the being a master empowerment coach, that is what I do through workshops. I don't do a ton of one-on-one coaching as much anymore, but I do workshops. I have a training that I'm writing right now that's going to be an online training. That's what I do. I help women. Teddy, how do I say this? The best gauge to know if you need to settle down and pay some attention to yourself and your stories is when somebody asks you, how are you? And you say you're fine as a knee-jerk reaction, but in your heart, you know that's not true. That is what I help women with. So yeah, the answer to that is absolutely yes, and I love it. And it is such a joy for me to see a look in a woman's eyes when she says, often they're tear-filled because she's had a breakthrough. And she'll say, oh my gosh, my relationships in my life are going to be different. But you know what she discovers when we work together, whether it's in a group, that her relationship with herself she sees that it's been prioritized and it needs to be honored. And she needs to understand that her relationship with herself, she's worthy of having a good relationship with herself. And as a byproduct, everything else around her changes.
Okay.
For the better.
Before we go any further, can you give us information that my audience can reach out to you if they choose to?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking. Yes, a few different ways. My website is marlorutz.com. It's MarloRutz. I was named after Marlo Thomas, for your listeners that know who Marlo Thomas is.
Yes.
And then my email, they could email me. They could email me through my website, but it would be just marlo@marlorutz.com. And then on Facebook, I love connecting with women on my Reveal to Heal page. It's just Reveal to Heal, hosted by Marlo Rutz. They can request to join the group, and I will approve them. And that's where I put out a lot of free content from other people. I also broadcast my coffee chats at the Cubby Hole on that page as well. And then I have a YouTube page, Marlo Rutz. I don't really promote that page. It's more like a container. That's where I put all of my a lot of work, so that if somebody isn't on social media, I can just grab a link and send it to them. So that would be Marlo Rutz on YouTube.
So there are lots of different ways people can get in contact with you. And also, I know you had asked about a giveaway. Are you still willing to do a giveaway?
Oh, for sure. All they would have to do is just email me at marlo@marlorutz.com or instant message me through Facebook. I am on Instagram also under Marlo Rutz. I don't use Instagram a ton, but just get in touch with me through any of those platforms, and then I will send you a link. And what that free giveaway is right now that I'm sending out is it's my 5 strategies to closing the 5 strategies for closing the gap between adversity and peace. But what this video does, it's a 5-minute video. It gets your mind thinking about the different ways, the dialogues you can start to have and questions you can ask yourself about closing that gap between adversity and peace. And I'd love to explain that what that is, the adversity to peace gap, if you have a moment.
Okay, so if we have a woman listening to you today, or any one of our audience member listening to you today, and feel like they want to explore some of the avenues that you yourself have already experienced, they should just reach out to you and you'll be able to help them?
Yes, for sure. They will definitely receive lots of goodness on my Reveal to Heal page. That's where I put out a lot of free content. And then I can inform them when I have an online workshop, or when I start traveling again more consistently, when I'll be in their area. maybe doing a keynote or a live workshop. But yes, if they just get in touch with me, I can see what they're looking for, and I can answer their questions directly when they get in touch. I'd be happy to.
Okay, and what else would you tell a business owner, a listener, one of our listeners, that you feel, what is the most important message you'd like to give today?
The most important message is that the mindset work is important in every arena. It's important in our businesses, in our family life. And again, like I was saying about our different skills and talents, there's a common thread that travels through all of those. And that mindset, so if a woman is caught in shame, fear, doubt, anger, it's going to show up in all the areas of her life. And that's the message that I want to leave the listeners with, is that it is so critical. It's not critical for everybody else. It's critical for you to learn your stories, honor your stories, see if they are propelling you or paralyzing you, because the byproduct of the answer to that question being yes, if you're doing that, it's going to show up in your business, in your family life, and you're going to have you possibly might have this common thread of lack of peace in your life, and you'll see it, and more importantly, you'll feel it. Patty, there's so much anxiety, physical anxiety and depression going on in our world, and it shows up in our business, possibly our business outcome. It shows up everywhere. So it's time to get the shovel, dig in, and reveal the truth in order to heal the truth. And you'll find it a benefit in every area of your life.
I totally agree with you. I have been there, done that. And yes, I agree that it will show up, because our personal life actually affects every facet of our life and relationship. And one of the things I've learned is, building relationships is so much more important. We have a couple minutes before we have to wrap up for our first session, and we would like to invite you back to come and do a second session. So this would be part 1 for listeners, and then we'll have another part 2 where Marlo will come back and she'll give us some more information about what she is doing.
I love that. Thank you so much.
Yes, and I would like you once again to give your information that people will be able to reach out to you.
Oh, for sure. My email is Marlo Rutz. My email is marlo@marlorutz.com. My website is marlorutz.com. Facebook, Marlo. I do have a personal page, but it's Reveal to Heal on Facebook. Reveal to Heal, hosted by Marlo Rutz. And then my YouTube is Marlo Rutz. Please feel free to contact me. I'd love to. I love connecting with women. And by the way, I've had clients that are men too. That just happens to be my main demographic is women. But I have one of the biggest breakthroughs I had. One of my workshop exercises is because of a breakthrough that happened with a man that I was working with.
Okay. Okay. In our last couple of minutes, I want to ask you a little bit about your relationship with God. How important, I've historically in my past episodes, I've not really emphasized a lot of relationship with God per se, but tell me, how important was that in your being able to do what you're doing now?
It's not only important, it's everything. And I want to give encouragement to people that do not have a relationship with Jesus, because I was the woman that for 40 some years, I had to wander around that mountain, as it talks about in the Bible, for over 40 years, denying God. I was actually the opposite of a believer. Not that I was an atheist at all, but I just did not have a relationship. I was I had grown up with more religion and did not have a relationship. And I actually, when I had friends that would talk to me about God, I would just probably not call them back for a long time. So it took me a long time, but then I had a moment sitting in my garage, which I have a little blog that I wrote about that story, the moment Jesus showed me about the relationship, and it was a cool little, very, very cool moment. And since then, I've been seeing all the God sprinkles in my life. And maybe on the next episode, I'll tell you the story about Sleeping Beauty, which was the foundation of what I'm doing based on how God worked in my life. It's not a long story, but I think you only have a few minutes here, but it's everything. My relationship with God is everything. I remind myself that I have an audience of one, that I'm not looking for, like millions and millions. If that happens, millions and millions of followers, or that doesn't matter to me. I have an audience of one. Everything I do needs to be run through the filter of that divine connection, and that's how I know if what I'm doing is on track for me.
Yes, I know the couple of times that we have connected, it seemed like we were on the same page with whatever we were doing in our devotion that day. And it was really, really interesting, where you connect with somebody who you don't really have a close relationship with, and you see that they're on the same page. It always amazes me how the communication, although it is not spoken audibly, it's there, that telepathic communication between God and however many people in the world that he connects with. So I wish you, all God's blessing with whatever you're doing, and to reach the people that you need to reach, the women that you need to reach, and your career would blossom.
Same to you, Tati. Thank you so much. Same to you. Blessings to you as well.
I know your husband longer than I've known you, and the integrity and the character that he has. And I've seen you, years ago at a convention that we went to, but I absolutely love your husband. And I want to tell you that one of the things that popped up on my Facebook was you being live in your car, and you were talking about how many things you have, like bottles you have in your car and things like that. And I'm like, oh my God, that's me. She's talking about me.
What was it? Buckles? Like, was it? Things like things that are in our car.
It just happened on my Facebook. This was probably about a month ago or something, or maybe a couple months. And you were talking about how you had to clean your car. You hadn't cleaned your car. It's like, I live in my car too.
People say, I always, joke about perfect mom. Like, I love perfect moms. I have a lot of friends that are perfect mom, but I'm kind of, sometimes I feel like with so many kids, I feel like, a lot of perfect moms will say, you can eat off of my floor. And I'm like, girl, you can eat off my floors too. What do you want? A chicken nugget, a goldfish? The floor of my car often is not as much because they're teenagers, but yes, in our purse, we carry so much stuff. So yes, I'm glad that was relatable for you. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so, well, I have no excuse. You have children. I have none. So I have
it doesn't matter. We're busy doing other things. We're doing things other than, just tidying all the time. So, and that's okay too. Like, I go in spurts for, like, today. I think I'm going to take the day off, and I love to tidy. But as a mindset coach, I always tell women, don't make sure you're not tidying as an excuse to hide from your calling. Remind me to tell you about that maybe on the next episode about spice rack.
Right. We have to say goodbye now. We have to wrap up. We're over time, but I'll chat with you again on the next episode.
Thank you so much. It was an honor.